Now, going back to the menu, you have support, wherein you can always reach out to the Google support team if you are using a paid version. Even with free trial, you can try to reach out and you will find someone to help, but it is always good when you have a billing cycle reaching out the customer care. You have identity access management and admin, and this is required when you're working with different APIs or services, when you would want to have relevant access. You have getting started, you have security related options, you have Anthos, which is mainly for migration. Now here you can look at your different domains, such as which we discussed. So you have compute, and in compute you have different services. So you have App Engine, you have Compute Engine, Kubernetes, you have Cloud Functions and Cloud Run. You can look into the storage aspect, which shows you Bigtable, which is usually and mainly for your unstructured data. Bigtable, which is something which gave rise to popular NoSQL databases like HBase and Cassandra. You have Data Store, which can be used. You have Firestore, File Store, Storage, which can be used to put in data of any kinds. You have SQL for structured data. You have Spanner as a service. You have Memory Store, and you have Data Transfer. Now, when it comes to the networking domain, you have all these services such as VPC, Virtual Private Network, network related services for your load balancing, for using a cloud-based DNS or cloud-defined network. You have hybrid connectivity, network service tiers, security, and intelligence. Then you have other options for your operations which can be used. And here you have different other tools which can be used, such as Cloud Build. You have Cloud Tasks, Container Registry, Deployment Manager, and many more. Big data specific, you have the services here. So you have Dataproc, which can be used to spin up your clusters. You have publish subscribe messaging systems such as now Kafka, which you might have heard of, originates its idea from here. So PubSub, you have Dataflow, you have IoT Core, BigQuery, which is a data warehouse package or data warehousing solution from Google Cloud. Now, then you have your artificial intelligence related services and other Google solutions. So you can always find a huge list of services, or you can say at high level solutions offered by Google Cloud. And we can use these to basically test some of the solutions, use them, and work on them. So I'll give you a quick demo on different services which can be used here from your Google Cloud platform. Now this is your Google Cloud platform and this is your console. Now this also gives you a Cloud Shell which can be activated so that you can work from command line, and you can always find a lot of documentation on that. So you can also set up your Cloud Shell, that is SDK, on your Windows machine. And if you have set it up, then basically you could be doing something like gcloud, right? If the cloud has been set up. So in my case, I had set up the Cloud SDK, and basically I can get into that by looking at what path I have set up. So Cloud SDK, and then I can be using it from my Windows machine as per my comfort. I can also activate the Cloud Shell here, which will basically open up a terminal. And at any point of time, you can open up this one Cloud Shell in a different window. It is preparing the Cloud Shell, where it will by default set up your project. It will set up the metadata. And now I am logged into my Google Cloud account from command line. And here I can basically use gcloud, right? And that basically shows you the different options which are available, which you can be using. So if you would want to use a particular service, you can also try giving a help, and that shows you how do you manage your Google Cloud platform, right? So you have different options for billing, to work with your different services, and basically you could be working on Google Cloud using this Cloud Shell from your command line. Usually for people who are learning Google Cloud in the beginning, it is always good to go for console and use your different services from here in an easier way. But as I said, you can always use the command line. For example, if I would just go ahead and type gcloud create instances, and that will directly take me to the Cloud Console documentation, which shows you different options which you can use to work with instances. So I could do a G-Cloud compute instances create, and then I can give my instance name and so on. And I'll show you some examples on that. So you can be using your Cloud Console, right? That is your Cloud Shell, and you can straight away start working from command line. However, I would suggest using console in the beginning, and when you are well experienced, then you can start using Cloud Shell to do things from command line. And when you are fully experienced, you can always switch, and certain things are usually useful or easier when done from command line, and some are easier when you do it from the console, and you can use any one of these options. Now we can go to Google Cloud Console. Now, as of now, I can close this one. I still have my Cloud Shell open. If I would want to look into it, I can click on this one and I can straight away go to Compute Engine, where I would want to work on creating some instances on Google Cloud Platform using the Compute Engine service, and then basically connecting to those instances and basically trying out some basic things. So you can click on VM instances, and then once this comes up, I can always create some instances. Now, if you see here, I have some instances already created, right? And I can continue working on those. I can create new instances. I can use different options while creating instances, and I'll show you that in a demo in quick seconds.